Everyone is crazy about the new Barbie movie, and so am I. So today we are going to make a Barbie dress. Oh yes, and my name is Milena, and welcome back to Gorgeously Vintage Atelier. Today, get ready to get even more feverish with the Barbie fever and step with me into a time machine as we embark in a fantastic journey to recreate an iconic piece of Barbie's fashion history.
Her lovely fashions range from $1 to $5. Look for Barbie wherever dolls are sold.
Barbie has a truly remarkable history, and I love to learn new things about my sewing projects and fashion history, and Barbie is such a fashion icon and we don't realize it today, but back then it was groundbreaking. I'm telling you, my dearies, I haven't been excited about a project since the last big one I did. It was the Wednesday dress. If you want to see this video, click in the link just above. So today we're going back to 1959 to revisit the legendary Barbie doll, who made her debut in this chic black and white striped swimsuit that everyone is crazy about. But we are not only making the swimsuit. No. We are not only making the iconic swimsuit. So we're going to make this swimsuit, but into a jaw-dropping pin-up wiggle dress that is going to look super amazing, and I'm going to make it for one local pin-up girl in Montreal. Her name is Antonella. You can find her on Instagram. So here is an Instagram. She's a smoke show, so go make sure to go check her out. And I'm making it custom just for her, so I'm super excited to show you the sewing process. So to transform a swimsuit into a wiggle dress, what we need to do is create a strapless bustier with a wiggle skirt. And to do that, we're going to use some 1-inch stripe black and white fabric, and we'll create the chevron that Barbie has in the middle. And I have a sample here just to show you. So as you can see, the chevron effect is created with a seam. The diagonal is cut on the 60-degree angle. So this is how you can create a chevron with vertical or horizontal striping. And this is quite the challenge, I would say, because you really need to be precise, and one little millimeter of difference can make the whole illusion disappear. So you really need to be careful, and I'm going to show you and share with you all my tips and tricks so you can recreate your own. So to create the dress, I've bought some thick matte satin with 1-inch black and white stripe, and I think it was perfect for this project because we needed a lot of body to recreate it, since it was a bustier and a wiggle skirt, and we wanted really to have the angular effect on the wiggle dress. I highly recommend to get yourself some nice and thick fabric if you want to make sure that the fabric won't move under the needle and you will have clean chevron and clean lines. So now that we have covered the fabric and the theme of this video, without further ado, let's get ready to sew. Let's go! I am working on the pattern pieces, and I want to make sure to have the lines perfectly aligned. So I'm taking time to mark 1 inch apart a diagonal line. They are at a 60 degrees interval, and this way I'm making sure also to match the front pieces of the bodice, so it's going to be symmetrical. The skirt and the bodice will fit perfectly together in the diagonal line. So I'm using a quilting ruler. This is Alpha quilting ruler, and you have all the degrees right here. So I'm using the 60 degrees line to make sure that my lines are perfectly aligned. So basically I know that this line is a straight line, so I'm aligning the 60 degrees line right here, and this way I can align all the inches line with the second one and mark it as I go. So you really need to be precise and take the extra time to do it correctly before cutting the fabric, because otherwise when it will be time to sew them together and align the lines, it will really look crooked, and the smallest mistake will look awful. So you really need to be precise. So I'm going to do that all the way till the end of the pattern pieces, so this way it will match with the center front of the bodice. And for the second part of the skirt, it's going to be horizontal line. This way it will create a backward V shape and it will continue straight, same as the Barbie swimsuit. So let's do it and we'll come back. We are now at the critical moment, guys. It's now time to align all the lines that we did on the pattern pieces onto the fabric. And I've managed to, and I make sure to line my pattern pieces with 1-inch lines so that it matches with the fabric. So this way I just can align it and it will make my life way much easier when it's time to sew the pieces together and align everything on the stitches, because this is a real puzzle and you want to really be super precise. So this way I can know that all my pieces will be perfectly matching. And now that my bodice front pieces is aligned, I will show you how I do it for the second piece. So I'm starting at the bottom right here. You can see that I've made some black marks in the lines. That means it should be on the black stripe. So now that it's well aligned on this side, I will put a pin, and I am slightly realigning it on the other side of the black mark. And if I have done my markings correctly, it should be well aligned on the other lines as well. As we can see, everything is matching quite nicely. Of course, you can see some discrepancy, but it can happen since it's a printed fabric. Sometimes the prints are not well accurate, but you can manage to wiggle a little bit while sewing. And you really want to put a lot of pins in because you don't want your fabric to move or to shift, and you want your pattern pieces to be really flat. I have now cut out all the first pattern pieces, and since I am line matching, I have cut them out on single fold fabric, so I need to recut them a second time to make sure I have all my pieces that I need. And to do that, I will take my pieces and flip it right sides together with the fabric. This way I can have a mirror piece, and I am still matching the fabric lines with the pattern piece, and I'm going to pop a couple of pins in it. Now all my pieces are pinned and ready to cut. Now let's move on to the bodice. I am beginning with assembling the center front pieces at the center front seam, and the key here is really to be precise with aligning all the stripes together, and you really want to pin each pins into the end or the beginning of a stripe, and making sure that you adjust it along the way. And you really want to check and take your time, because otherwise it will look crooked when you will open the center front piece, and you really want the chevron effect to be as precise as possible. So I am pinning more pins than usual, and as you can see, it looks pretty good. So I'm going to move on and sew the center front seam as usual with 5/8 of an inch. Now the moment of truth, I'm removing the pin and let's see how it looks. Oh, amazing! It looks perfect. Honestly, this fabric is really easy to work with, so it gets the job done quite more easily than I was expecting. So the stripes are aligning perfectly, and I'm doing the same thing with the side front of the bodice. Now it looks all neat and ready to sew. Only a couple things to adjust. I like to open it and see how it looks before sewing it, and this way I can readjust the pin if I need to. So it's really important to be precise in this step because it will save you a lot of headache, because it can really mess up all your design if 1 millimeter of a line is crooked. It will really show, so be careful and take your time. Now everything looks good. Let's move on to the sewing machine. It looks amazing. I'm so happy, and the project really takes shape. And now I'm moving on to assembling the lining to the bustier. It's a regular lining for the bustier in cotton, and I'm sewing at the neckline. I have added some boning channel to the lining the regular way on the princess seam, the center front, the side seam, everywhere. And now I'm going to cut at length some plastic boning that I will insert into the boning channel. So you just need to measure each boning to length of the channel and cut them and insert them in all the channels. Now moving on to arranging the neckline of the bustier. So I'm clipping the curves of the neckline so it will ease more easily when we'll flip them inside out. And it's a really important step because it will reduce a lot of bulk when you will understitch the lining to the bodice. And please don't skip the understitching process because it really gives a difference, makes the real difference of a really neatly finished sewing garment. Look how nice and crisp, and now the lining is folding almost by itself into the bustier, so it really makes your life easier. And look at how clean the sweetheart neckline looks. So let's move on to filing the boning before inserting them in the channel. This way it won't poke through the fabric, because it happened to me quite a lot of times. So please make sure to file, or at least cut in the round each boning before inserting them into the lining. So we have Georgette here modeling the first sample of the bustier of the Barbie dress. So let's get a closer look. As I said, I really wanted to keep the look as authentic as possible. So for the bustier, I really wanted to have the same chevron angle, which is a 60-degree angle, starting in the center front. So that's what I did for the center front panels. And here you have, Georgette.
Hold on, Georgette!
And after the princess seam, the stripes are going horizontally at a 90-degree angle. So this is where the degree of difficulties is increasing like 10,000 times, because you need to match 60-degree angle stripe with 90-degree angle stripe, and it needs to look good. And you have a curve for the bust as well. So yeah, if you know you know. So that's why marking your lines on the pattern pieces are super important, because this way you really make sure that your angle is right and that you have cut the pieces on the right line, and you end up with perfect lines as I did, but it wasn't on the first try, let me tell you. And right here on the top of the bust, I don't know if you have noticed, but on the original swimsuit, we have some kind of change in the direction of the line on the top of the bust, and I really wanted to recreate this detail because it's really what differentiates the bad replica from the good ones, if in my humble opinion. And I really like this detail, so I really wanted to make sure that it gets the same detail on this one. I really wanted to show you how good the first sample looked and how happy I am with the pattern matching, so we can move on to the final dress. Yeah, I'm so excited. Let's get to sewing, my dearies. Go! So it's now the dreaded time to match the back of the skirt with the front chevron. The back of the skirt will be in a horizontal line, so it's kind of tricky to match all the lines together. So I have cut out a few tries and it wasn't matching up, so I needed to change my plan and go with the chevron in the front all the way through the side seams. So I have matched my pattern pieces, my lines on it, and now I want to pin them and see if it works. And if there wasn't any kind of line matching, this dress and this skirt and this top is quite easy and straightforward. It's truly the line matching that does makes it kind of tricky. So you see, I have my chevron in the front, and for the back it's going to be horizontal, so that's why it's quite difficult to match those lines. So you really need to be precise, but let's hope. And there's quite a big curve right here, so let's hope for the best. So I'm starting with the top and trying to match the best that I can. So far, so good. I really need to get past that curve, and I think that after that I will be okay. And I want to pin on the other side so I can open it and see. At this point it's almost trial and error. Oh, it's matching quite nicely. It almost looks seamless, so let's continue. Oh, this is what I love the most about this project, the satisfaction of pattern matching all the little pieces. I mean, when you get it right, you get it right and it looks amazing. my dearies, we did it! We transformed the iconic 1959 swimsuit into a sizzling pin-up wiggle dress that's sure to impress. And now, I want to know, do you want me to recreate another vintage Barbie outfit? Please let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this retro adventure and would like to see more vintage inspired sewing, be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. Be sure to join our amazing sewing community on Instagram. You can find me at Gorgeously Vintage. It's where I show more sewing behind the scenes and my inspiration for my project, sewing memes, a lot more fun stuff. I want to thank you so much all for your support, and especially thank Antonella for her trust and her confidence in my skills to make her a dream Barbie dress. I'm super happy she chose me for this amazing project. It was a challenge, but the challenge was accepted and I conquered it. So thank you so much, Antonella. It was a pleasure to work on this dress for you. And so, my dearies, please keep sewing, keep rocking those vintage vibes, keep being creative, and I will see you next time. Au revoir, my dearies. Woo! We transform inside. Moi, je ne sais pas quoi dire. Je ne sais pas quoi dire. J'ai un blanc. Une petite batterie qui marche jamais. Oh! Ça tourne! Hi, my dearies! My dearies, everyone is crazy about the new Barbie movie. Calisse de tabarnak! Ah!
No. No, Georgette. Oh my god, the struggle is fucking real. Georgette, ne t'en va pas. I can't anymore. Focus on Georgette, thank you.
Oh! Qu'est-ce qu'on fera pas pour YouTube?